and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's time for another Dawn and Julia Create, and it's part 2 of the £5 challenge. So the idea for this is based on you know, the Ready Steady Cook programme from years ago, and the contestant would bring £5 worth of goodies, and from there they had the chefs made some amazing dishes just using larder items, so things that you would automatically have in, like flour, sugar and all of that sort of malarkey. So I thought we'd do a craft version. So last week we bought our own stuff. This time we've bought stuff for each other. Dawn has got all this for £5, I have no idea. I mean, we've got a domino set, we've got some seashells and things, we've got this sort of stitch your own seahorse, which is cool, some washi, a garden door and a dream catcher. So I'm going to try and use elements of all of it. I do sort of have a plan, I think. What I want to try and do is, oh that's heavy, create some sort of garden scene. So obviously the sea horsey elements, that's maybe going to be another make, but what I am going to try and do with the leftovers of the last one that we did and the leftovers of this one, I would quite like to, can't decide whether to do that this way or that way, I would quite like to sort of make a few more things, and we'll break it down and just see exactly how much we can make for £5. Okay, so I was thinking that if I did this and then I was going to lay the dominoes down as bricks, but I'm not quite sure. So I think we're going to have that part because it's going to need it to support. See, the idea worked amazing in my head, and now we get to the reality of it and think, right, is that going to work? Probably okay once we've stuck that down. So let's get some gel medium out. So yeah, I think well, unless we do it like that. Hang on, I'm just trying to work this out now. Right, let's open all the other bits. So interested to see what Dawn started off with a very boring parcel, and then I received this and thought her parcel isn't nearly interesting enough. So then I went out and bought some extra stuff. So the extras, or larder items, are gessos in black, white and clear, gel medium or adhesive of any description, and what do you call it? Oh, I can't think. Yeah, sorry, brain. Right, so gel mediums, gessos, paint in magenta, cyan and yellow, and any sort of adhesive, so that sort of thing. So we're sticking to very, very basics, and then just elements that we can have for £5. So I think I'm going to have to get some adhesive out. I was just trying to work out what on earth I was doing. So we will see. What are we doing? Because right now, I don't know. Have you ever seen the like reels or TikToks where they do the voiceover of like Ross from Friends, and he's like, at first I was like, ah, and then now that I've had chance to absorb it, it's all working out. It was a bit like that when I first got this. It was like, oh, what on earth? And then I was like, oh, I'm going to make a garden scene. Right, yeah, I think that's going to work. Right, let's get some glue. So I've got some gel medium. Oops, thrown that all over my desk. That's not quite what my intention was. Yeah, I've got some gel medium and my hot glue gun, because I think for some of the elements we're going to sort of need them to sort of stick immediately, but this is going to have so many elements in it that we are definitely going to need it to sort of have a bit of immediate adhesion just to be able to balance all of this. So I'm doing this in the morning. This is actually just under 2 weeks before this is due to go live. So, you know, at the moment we're working far ahead. I had to laugh at Dawn. Honestly, I really did. She's sitting there going, oh, I'm really to the wire on this one. I'm not sure if I've got drying time and all this. She was working like a week in advance. I was working. I was still filming at 2 o'clock on the day it went up. So it did make me laugh. I kept sending messages to Dawn going, oh, just finished filming. Oh, it's rendering. And it's like, oh, it looks like it might be up. I think I was up just about, I think it loaded up to YouTube about 20 minutes before it was due to go live. It was a tad crazy. So my idea is to try and create some sort of garden scene. I realise that looks absolutely nothing like that just now. But hey ho. So I'm going to put that about there. Now, this is the bit. I think we're going to have to build up. I'm going to layer a load of cardboard just there so that we've got a bit more surface to stick to. Okay, so I have gone ahead and gessoed this off camera. It's had about 3 coats, I think. And now we will get to the painting stage. I think I'll probably do a little bit with you and then I'll probably put a little bit on fast forward. So I've got 2 of my Pebeo paints, but the magenta that I had in Pebeo was a pearlescent and I didn't really want that. So I've got a bit of Dilutions and 2 Pebeos. So we'll see how they play together. But essentially we've got the 3 primary colours. So we've got yellow, our cyan blue and the magenta, and then for our shades and tones we have both white and black gesso, and I'm going to use that as my paint palette. I do have a mixed media mat on under here. At one point I was hoping that could become my background, but it's a little bit stroby, so I've just got it sort of tucked away in the edge there, and we will see how we get on. So I'm going to start off by mixing a brown. Probably should have gone with picking up the yellow first so I didn't contaminate it too much. And so we will try and mix a bit of a brown. So we need our 3 primary colours for that. You can already see there that we've got a brown sort of colour, so I need to make a lot more. It's not going to get me very far. So 3 primary colours. I'll get. This one seems a little bit watery for some reason. Right, let's mix that together and see what we've got. Give it a good stir. And then to get various shades in, I'll probably start adding black. I'm giving that a good mix. So there you go, a really easily made brown. And I think I probably want a slightly deeper tone of brown, so I'm just going to take in some black from a gesso, mix that in, take it from the lid, there we go. And maybe a bit more blue, so I can change the tone of it, yeah that's better. So a bit more blue, because it was just looking a bit orangey for me and I wasn't really wanting an orangey brown. That's almost like a slate grey now, which is not particularly what I want either, but I'm going to add a bit more black in. And then we'll see how we go with that. Just play around, don't be afraid of it. Okay, so we'll see what that's like. We can always adapt it as we go. And I'm going to go for painting the door. I'm going to have a wood sort of colour. So I have to say, when I was this has been lying in my craft room for days. Days and days, and I started looking at it going, what on earth have I done? It looks awful. I was really sort of looking at it, and the more I was seeing it, the more I was going off it. And then as soon as I gessoed it, I was like, oh actually that looks really good. So I know I say it a lot, but do be prepared for your work to go through an ugly stage and just keep going, because especially mixed media, when you put all the random stuff together in that first initial stage before it's gessoed, it does just look a little bit funny. No 2 ways about it. Right, so I've got my initial brown in there, and we'll probably have to do a number of coats to be able to build up the tonal value. But at the minute, all I'm going to be doing is moving that about. Now I want a slate grey, so I am going to start with some blue. Now the easiest way to make grey is obviously black and white, but I always find it's quite a harsh grey. If you know, when you look at your markers, you tend to have, like, they call it a C cool grey or a warm grey, and it's because, like, your greys do have different tones. See there, so if you're going for like a cool grey, add a little bit of blue in, and that's going to give you that cool grey look. And if you are wanting a warmer grey, probably add just a tiny bit of yellow. But you will find that your greys will look much more realistic and much more interesting if you do actually mix a little bit of colour in. Don't just stick to the black and white. I know when we were at school they used to actually ban us from using black paint. I still use it now because I think it does add, I do use it, but I very rarely use it on its own. I will tend to mix something else into it, and you'll find that that will be a much nicer grey than had you just mixed the black and white gesso together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you on fast forward, because as I said, this will be kind of repetitive. I might pop back in on occasion if something interesting happens, or talk to you between coats and things like that. But yeah, painting is a long process. It does take me a while to do it, and especially as I like to build up the shades and tones and things as well, but I think it's worthwhile. And I'm very, very tired. I've not had a lot of sleep. My family's all gone on holiday and I'm sitting here all my lonesome by myself, so I'm a bit like, ugh. I got my dates wrong for going to Chanda. I'm going a week earlier than I expected to be, and I'm not prepped. And I've ended up with an extra show. So originally I was thinking, right, well, I'll just come home for the day to pack for the extra show, but I'm so not ready that I was like, actually I'll just stay and try and get organised, and hopefully if I can knuckle down and get organised, I can maybe join them Thursday or Friday and have the weekend with them. So I'm in the house all by myself. Didn't get a lot of sleep, feeling quite miserable to myself. So I think I did some crafting, which is making me happy. It feels like I have you guys in with me, you know, that that always feels a bit better. You know, I feel like I've got friends in my craft room playing with me. But yeah, I want to slurp away at my tea. My throat's getting dry. So I'm going to slurp away at my tea, have a lovely time playing and getting lost in the zone. It's got a bit of the gesso that's not quite dry, which is kind of pulling into there now. That's fine because it's just adding a little bit of tonal value. So yeah, I'll maybe sort of do the first coat, and then we can come back and have a little look at it there, because yeah, building up the coats does make a difference. Hopefully we'll see a difference between layers. So yeah, I'll be back in a mo. can't believe how much I love this now. As I said, I went from this morning looking at it thinking, oh my goodness, what on earth, what on earth have I done? I particularly love how this fuzzy stuff that was meant to be stuffing has turned into the grass. I think that looks really, really cool. So as I was doing the grass, you may have noticed that I was sort of mixing it on there. I was kind of taking it, I wasn't overly worried if my green wasn't mixing properly. I was just sort of taking a little bit of the yellow and a little bit of the blue and sort of mixing it on there, and that was sort of to give it a multi-tonal look from the offset. I am going to knock these flowers back a little bit. They're much brighter than I intended them to be, but I was always kind of going to play with coats on that as well. So yeah, I'm happy so far. So now I'm just going to try and build up some of the depth of colour a little bit, and we will see how we get on. So I'm going to mix this brown again. What's cool about doing this painting stuff here on a mixed media mat is that these things will form skins, and I'll just be able to peel it off. And now if you can see there, that has got quite a lot of red in it, so it's almost like a purpley colour. So I want more yellow in there. So if it's purple, that means the red and blue are predominant. So to knock that back to where I want it, it's going to need more yellow. I'll pop that back in. There we go. So it's kind of giving me a tone I prefer. And then I think I'm just going to try and get a little bit of black in there as well, just to deepen it, because I am working on shadow now. There we go. Very quickly and easily. And I'm not too bothered whether I got the same colour as I did before, because as I said, it's about building up the shadow. So I think for this one, I'm just going to give it a whole coat again, because it looks quite washed out. And then I'm going to sort of blend on it while it's wet. So let's give this coat here, and then what I'm going to do is add a little bit more black to my brush so that we have a darker shade of this brown, and then we will sort the shadow areas. I'm not worried about this window colour. I'm kind of realised that I was going to keep knocking it. It's a very small detail. So I'm going to wait till all the rest is done, the actual window panes and this. I'm going to wait till that's done, and then I'm going to go in and paint that frame, because I think there's kind of no point until we reach the end anyway. Right, so I want a slightly darker shade now, because I'm going to build up my tonal value. So I'm going to just add black. So this is why your black and your white is useful, because it can be easy to do the colour mixing, but then getting the tones can be a bit trickier, whereas you can just add your tones, tints and tones, your tones by adding black and your tints by adding a little bit of white. I'm hoping I'm not contaminating my gesso too much. So I've got that a bit darker, so I'm going to go over these, what are they called? The bits that strap across. I'm going to go over those a little bit so that they stand up, and then just under the eaves here, because that is where you would get your shadow area. So actually what I might do is just dip straight into the black. I know that might sound a bit scary, and just pull that out and blend it on there, because in that way I'm going to get my shadow. Basically black is a lack of light, and your shadow is a lack of light. So just popping a bit of black, and as I said, because the paint's still wet, you can just blend that quite easily and get that in. Get it in a bit darker than it is. So what I can do is if I just get the black in, and then I can blend it out with, can you do with a smaller brush? I can blend it out with the brown that we've mixed. So yeah, let's get that black in there. Right, so don't be scared, like that just looks horrific right now. It's like, oh no, what have I done? Don't worry about it. Get that in there, and as I said, I'm just trying to get all in here because that's the eaves, and then there would be shadow underneath these slats, whatever they call them. I don't know what they call them. And my husband's not here for me to ask because he's pretty good at the old DIY. He would know what they were called. Right, so I've got the black in there. Now I'm going to mix some of this brown, and then we'll just sort of paint into that black. And that'll just blend out. And then the final stage, once we've given all this another coat and played with the shadows a little bit, I will do some dry brushing to pull out that detail. So what I may do as well now is, before I mix my slate grey, I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to get the plain black, and I'm going to get that black into, so I've got a tiny brush because these bits are quite small. So I'm going to go right in the crevices of all of the brickwork and just put straight black into those crevices. And once I've got that in there, I'll maybe do it a section at a time because I don't want it drying and then it being black. But I'm just wanting to get all those crevices, because that's where it would be really dark. That's where we would have that shadow. So let's get that painted in there. And then I will mix. Oh, I keep moving my paper, which is squidging all my paint. Oh dear, it's fine. I'm just making lots of. I'm going to get a load of blue there. Right. Should change my brush there. I've got brown and all sorts going on. Thankfully, a grey is very multi-tonal. So let's grab some black there. Get that all blended in. So it's both the times I've made the grey, no white's gone in there. I've made it with the black and the blue. So I'm just going to blend that out now with the other colours. So I'm just going to keep sort of doing that sort of thing with all the elements of it, getting a dark shadow colour in and then blending out with the medium tone. And then hopefully when we do the dry brushing, we'll probably dry brush with white, I think. And that will help too, or a paler tone of what's going on. I haven't quite decided yet. We will do that and see how it's looking then. So I'm going to pop you back on fast forward again. So this has been drying for a good couple of hours now. I decided to go for a little walk. I'm currently doing the Walk 100 Miles for Breast Cancer Challenge. So if you're interested in learning more about that, it's on my personal Facebook page, Julia McNeil. I'm having to walk. I'm a little bit behind target. So I walked down to the local co-op and got myself a chicken curry pie for lunch. Oh, I did not want that to go on there. I'm just going to get a couple more of the details now, so I've just mixed up a little bit of orange, and I'm just going to go right in the centre of those flowers, just so to highlight those. And I'm just looking at this now, and it's like, how rich and colourful and amazing does this look? And we have achieved this using only 3 colours of paint. So I get that colour theory is not everybody's cup of tea, and I don't think you need to get bogged down in it. I really don't, because like, you know, you can get bogged down into what all the different types of colour combinations are, whether they're complementary or contrasting or things like that, and I don't think that really matters. When you look at nature, you know, all colours are together and it works fine. But having a little bit of knowledge, and it's not a lot, like the knowledge that I've used here is primary school knowledge. You know, you mix yellow and blue, you get green. You mix blue and red, you get purple. You mix yellow and red, you get orange. You mix all 3, you get brown. That's as simple as it is. It's what we learn in primary school. And just reminding ourselves of these facts that are there. They are there in the depths of our mind, our recess. I'm just taking a stippling brush now, because I want to bring out some of, I want to add some more of the greenery and spread that a bit further about, so I'm just going to stipple some in. Yeah, so having a basic understanding, basically we can make our craft supplies just go that little bit further. It means when, like for example, when the oxides came out, I desperately wanted them. I really did. And there was different colours, and it was just too expensive to buy them all. I mean, I've gradually built up my collection now, and I've got a lot more. But at the time, it was just like, well, I can't afford to get all of them. So, or if there's a new product, a colourway product, and I'm not sure, I buy it in the bright yellow, the magenta, and the cyan. And from that, you can literally make every colour under the sun. So it means we're not having to spend as much. If there's a product that we like, but we don't really want to get the whole set, and 3 colours will suffice. And it just helps us, as I said, to get the most out of what we are doing. And it's not complicated stuff. Don't feel, I know that Dawn will have done colour mixing today, because this is obviously Dawn and Julia Create, so do pop over and check what she's done. I'm actually really excited to see what she's done, because I did give her a bunch of really random stuff. And she struggles with colour theory. It's not something that not that she struggles with it, she's brilliant at it, but she says it's not her thing. But she does have the basics, and she will have made something and she'll have mixed her colours and she'll have managed absolutely fine, even though she maybe feels that colour mixing isn't her thing. And this is why, you know, it's good to do sort of challenges like this. But as I said, 3 colours, so you know, that didn't break the bank. I think that's under £2, and those certainly were, you know, so you can, and yet we've made something with all the colour depth of that there. It's just amazing. Right, I'm going to give that a quick waft just because I have put fresh paint on, and I'm just going to try dry brushing it. I'm thinking I'm just going to go white all over, but if I don't like the way that looks, I will bring it back and we will do just maybe a paler colour of what is there. So yeah, I would highly recommend have a play with mixing colours. You might not think that it's your thing, but it's amazing what you can achieve. Right, I've just put a little bit of gesso, I don't want a lot, onto a brush, about 3/4 of the way up, and I'm just going to brush it with the flat of my brush. Look, now I'll show you that the stonework there has just really come out. You can sort of see the nooks and crannies of the stonework. So again, this the idea of this project was everything that we bought was just £5. We've kept our products to a minimum, so it's like the basics that you would, almost as I said, ready steady cook, what you would have in the larder. So the basics of colours, basics of mediums, not adding any extras. I mean, me being me, I'd probably quite like one of my girls there or something, so there's somebody going through the gate. But even without that, it's fine. I'm just getting a little bit of dry brushing on there, and it's just, again, elevating it to another level. Now, I loved that little doorway thing. But I have to say, the colours and stuff that it came in did feel just a little bit tacky. So it shows you as well, it's like, try and see past what you're seeing. Because some of these tacky little gifty things that are available, given a bit of TLC and a bit of crafty know-how, can just become something completely different that looks really completely different. I am absolutely loving this project. I'm so thrilled with it. And actually the leaked out gel medium that sort of spill onto those dominoes as I was doing it, I've got way too much stuff on my brush here now. It's actually given the domino things a really good texture. So I'm just trying to get a lot of this. I've got way too much on my... Look how the texture comes out there with a little bit of dry brushing. And it just also blends all the elements together. So we've got all the different colours going on, but I was trying to think of a garden and stuff like that. So it sort of knocks it all back and makes the colour tone sort of even throughout. And we're building up the texture. But I think that is as pretty much done. I don't want to over egg the pudding, because I'm happy and I don't want to end up sort of accidentally whiting the whole thing out by getting too carried away. I've realised that I've not added the washi, so I'm very sorry. I've not actually used everything in it. So we can either view that as I'm on the naughty step, or we've made this for £4. That's crazy. I mean, look how amazing that looks. And you think of these expensive mixed media kits you can buy yourself, and we've done this from elements from... I do have to say though, I'm going to have to make another project. These things here, I didn't notice till I was tidying up. This is the bag of leftover bits here. They're glow in the dark. I came in the other day and all the lights were switched out and they were like glowing. Throw it out. They're glow in the dark. So now I feel like I have to make a craft project, and we'll need to have it glowing. And that's the other thing. I have barely scratched the surface of the stuff that Dawn's got me. So, I mean, again, I say that I'm going to make the other things. I'm sure I will at some point. But, you know, I could probably make at least, even on the conservative side, another 2 to 3 things out of everything Dawn gave me. So if you put that with that's into perspective, that's about £1.50 or something. Now, had we been allowed a little bit more products, I possibly would have been getting some glossy accents or something in some of those areas. The other thing I did want to do is I just wanted to, I'm hoping I'm not going to ruin this now because I should have done it at the previous stage, but I forgot. I'm just going to get a bit of pink. I just wanted to dab a little bit of pink through this green, almost so that there's like really, really tiny little flowers in amongst there, if that makes sense. Yeah, I've done that, so in fact it's going on. So it's almost like there's like little tiny pink flowers in amongst the greenery. That's what I was going for. I think that works. Okay, so that's me. I'm going to tidy the desk and I'll let you see that a little bit better. Okay, so that is my project all finished. I'm really, really pleased with how that's turned out. So yeah, I am dead chuffed with that. I think it's a really good example of like being able to build something a bit different, a bit quirky, absolutely beautiful, and on a budget, which is even better. Please do pop over to see what Dawn has done. I have given her a really random bunch of stuff, so I cannot wait to see what she's actually done with it. I know it's going to be awesome, so please do check out what she has done. If you have enjoyed it here, please do consider liking and subscribing. I would appreciate that very much. And I will be back with some more crafty goodness very, very soon. Okay, take care then, and goodbye.